Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is RemovableSanity and today I'm reviewing Obey Me, developed by Error 404 Game Studios and published by Blowfish Studios. So what is Obey Me? Obey Me is a co-operative 3D holypunk brawler. Use astral weapons and your Hound from Hell's powers to destroy your enemies in unique and brutal ways as you journey to unravel a world-shattering conspiracy. The premise of the game is simple. You take control of Vanessa, who is accompanied by her faithful companion, Monty, the Hound Hell. As a low-level subordinate of Satan's brothers Ammon, you start off by taking on your first job for him by killing a previous employee, which then slowly deteriorates into all-out hell. The game has 12 levels of carnage, supports co-op play, and has unlockable skins. And this leads me onto the gameplay. Every chapter starts off with your character Vanessa and her trusty devil Pooch, Monty, exploring the levels around them, collecting codexes, killing enemies, collecting their souls, and trying their best to level up before getting to a boss fight. I will say now that this game starts off slow, but as you progress, things get more challenging, more technical, and more fun. The reason I say this is that the first level leads you into a false sense of security, with you barely taking a scratch and an overall feeling of being underwhelmed with your weapon stroke powers in general combat. This is here to introduce you into the game's mechanics, but because of this slow approach, you may think this is a general hack and slash game. This could not be further from the truth, and you'll soon learn that the varied enemies each have their own attack patterns that you'll need to judge on countering rather than blindly mashing the button. Don't get me wrong, you can do that. However, if you use the game's combo attacks and powers wisely, you will soon see enemies go down faster. This will also help you get a better rating when you complete the many battles, which in turn then helps you get a better overall grade at the end of the level. It has a similar system to Devil May Cry, in which you get a nice overlay telling you how well your fight was, i.e. rubbish or super slayer. To help you get the best rating possible, there is a nice selection of weapons and powers you can use in a bid to kill your enemies. Vanessa, throughout the progression of the story, can pick up 4 weapons, each with their own unique skill tree. These can then be upgraded by spending shards obtained while playing the game, allowing you to unlock alternative attacks and combos. Switching between these weapons can be done on the fly, and providing some interesting attacks like pulling an enemy in for a flurry of punches to finish him off with a huge hammer. They contrast each other perfectly, and near the end of the game, switching becomes a joy and a necessity. Monty also has his own unique powers, which come from the different forms he can take, 3 in all. And again, each of these have its own unique attacks and skill tree. This works perfectly and has some great effects like shooting laser bullets to throwing up bile to damage enemies in a wide area. Now in single player mode you can only control Vanessa and her attacks, with Monty being controlled by an AI that cycle through his powers whilst attacking your foes. You can control, however, what doggy form you wish Monty to be in, and in turn can control an area attack based on that form. What's great here is that each form's power can be used to chain your attacks to provide a more powerful attack, so keeping an eye on what Monty and the power he is using is essential. It's a shame you can't swap to control Monty, as this would have been ideal. However, a local second player can join you and do just that. Thanks to the rubber mechanic, you'll never get lost either when playing together. Once you have collected enough souls, represented by bars underneath your health, you can also use your ultimate. This fuses you and Monty together to create a new powerful form and provide attacks that do huge amount of damage while also replenishing your health. I have many a time used this ability to keep me from death and gain some much needed health, though it is my recommendation to try and save up enough bars to use for bosses. The bosses in the game are nicely varied and immensely fun, and challenging in their own way. This is because they all have completely different attack styles, with some shooting homing orbs and others calling in minions, so no single attack will work on the same one. This means you're going to have to use each of your weapon abilities and doggy forms to its fullest to work out how to take down these titans. Thankfully, there's a checkpoint just before, so should you die, and you will, you don't have to trudge through the level to get back to the boss in question. The one area I did have some issues with was the control system, as I felt it a little clunky when landing the hits where I wanted. Many a time I'd start a combo of hits only to finish hitting thin air in the opposite direction. Now, whilst not a deal breaker, it can be a little frustrating when there are sways of enemies on screen at once. Maybe increasing the hitbox might help this item and be dropped in at a later patch. So what about the graphics? The game's art style has a nice bright shaded look, with levels being drenched in colour, showing off mood lighting in dark alleyways, or cancer-like pusses covering an sewage area. Each level looks like it's been taken out of a comic book, and the visuals do sell this well. The bestiary is a great visual treat, and the in-game menus do show off superb red and black look that works beautifully. The overall design themselves is very much corridor based, with smaller areas opening up for those typical enemy ambush. Also dotted around is a plethora of varied traps that in conjunction with enemies can ramp up the difficulty when you least want it to. Unfortunately, there is no map, so whilst these levels are small, you can find yourself missing some collectibles by getting lost. Between the levels are cartoon strips to tell the overall story, and this graphic look works really well as a nice visual breakup. Now, I did find there was some frame rate drops and the visual glitches as well, like my character to continue punching when I've stopped. This looks like it may have been sorted though, as a patch dropped when reviewing. And now onto the sound. The music here is very mood orientated, with this emphasis to be on the general attacks as the main source of sound. But when it does appear, it ranges from almost cathedral-like tones ramped up to a almost grunge pop music for bosses. The general sounds, like your character's movements, explosions or general attack sounds, are top notch and do help feel like there's a weight behind your powers. There is a superb voice delivery in the game that helps sells the quirky friendship between your dog and owner, and their witty banter really brings the characters to life. And this leads me on to the rating of the game. Now, I rate games in order of avoid, on sale, great purchase and must own. My rating for Obey Me is great purchase. The game starts slow but ramps up nicely, and with a difficulty that I never found too hard to accomplish and gave me joy to play. It's a fun title that has some surprising depth if you stick with it whilst bashing enemies and listening to funny conversations with your dog. The game is currently priced on Xbox at £15.74, or approximately $20, and depending on your skill and patience, would give you about 10 hours worth of gameplay to potentially clear all the stages. With a co-op mode and retained experience and powers for playing harder levels, you could easily double that. Is this the perfect brawler of a game? No, but what it does have, it does well, and for me at least, was a fun and an enjoyable experience that will get me to keep a keen eye on what future releases this developer produces. Oh, did I mention it also has a comic based on it too? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I do hope you like this review, and if you do, please like, share and subscribe if you so wish. And if you would like to put some notes or even just a comment in the comment section, I do like reading them. Anyway, have a great time gaming, and I'll see you all again soon.